supposed to talk about? If you don't want me, what am I supposed to talk about?
Newcastle United 1, Aston Villa 1. Welcome back to another post-match reaction here on the Total Villain. I'm joined by the founder of the Villa View, Matt Lynch, Aston Villa fan, Luke O'Dell, and part of the Villa on Tour gang, if you like, Simon Lyons. Now, Luke, if you describe your emotional state right now in 3 words, let's say, what would those 3 words be?
Not good enough.
Why is that then?
There's not much really to talk about, really. You look at the first 2 games we played, I don't think there's much difference from the first 2 in terms of today. Yeah, we were a little bit better, but we just seemed so slow coming out the blocks, and we only seem to start playing once we go 1 behind.
So the Villa faithful were crying out, really, for changes after the Chelsea and Sheffield United game. And from your Twitter account, Matt, it seemed as if you weren't very happy with the starting lineup. In my opinion, understandably so.
Yeah, the team just didn't sit right with me. I don't get the fascination with Conser at right back. I think he's a better centre back than House. And against a team like Newcastle, you're going to expect to have some time on the ball at times. And Conser's not the man that you want to have time on the ball going forwards. In a game like this, you need Elmo. And it's the fact that we brought in Elmo too late. And I think in the same vein as that, you look at it, and John McGinn, why on earth he played 83 minutes against Chelsea, I don't know, because from the first minute today, he didn't look like he was fit. So to put him on how long was he on for? Say, I lost track. He played most of it again before being substituted. And it's like, you look at it and you go, surely someone's looking at this and going, hang on, he's not fit. Or B, Concert is a good defender, don't get me wrong, but going forward, it's not the option you want. He's just too heavy-footed.
So, Simon, a few minutes into the game, Trezeguet had a great chance, one of the first chances for Villa, and he was near the left-hand post, and he just placed it over the bar. Really, in comparison to Pulisic's goal against Villa last Sunday, he should really be getting down the target, shouldn't he?
Yeah, I think this is the problem. I think we create these half chances, and as you saw throughout the first half, we don't take the chances, and you're left wondering at 0-0. We've probably been the better side in the first half. Newcastle haven't really started, and you're wondering, are we going to pay for those missed chances? And later on in the game, obviously we did in the end, but it's just frustrating, isn't it? I think we create some decent openings in the first half, but it's just lack of quality, isn't it? It's just distinct lack of quality. And I think, it was a decent ball by El Ghazi, but how many times did we get decent balls to the box? It wasn't many, and it's those sort of chances that you need to take if you want to stay in the division.
Yeah, Luke's right. Simon's right, Luke, in the fact that Villa started a better team in the first early stages, really, but they didn't really take advantage of that in terms of getting any shots on target or scoring a goal, consequently.
No, and that's probably been the story of our season, really, if you look at it in terms of performances. When we've gone ahead in games, I think it's every time we've gone ahead in the game this year, we've dropped 19 points from winning positions, and it just says it about it all this season. But it's just the story of our season, really, and you can take the missed opportunity again once today, because I don't think Newcastle were at the rates during that first half. And as Simon said, we create these decent, good enough chances, but we don't put them away. And then Newcastle have a great opening from Tyrone Mings-Ell. I don't know what he's doing by the throwing line. And questions have got to be asked about John Terry's role at Villa now, because the last couple of games, the defence just seems an absolute shambles.
No, we will come on to that later. Matt, one of the positives, again, to take from the early stages was that the crossing in the past 2 games has been woeful. But in the early stages, Villa did get those crosses in. It was just a matter of the strikers not getting those shots or headers on target, wasn't it?
Yeah, I look at it, and in the early stages, I think Samatta should have done better with one of the earlier chances that he had. I think Lascelles just got in front of him from memory. In that first half as well, there was the McGinn header, might have been the second, I can't remember. But we've had these chances when we've put the ball in the penalty area today, and eventually, obviously, we scored from that corner, which came from across. But it comes down to this one factor, and then you look at it and you go, the supply lines just aren't there. El Ghazi, who is apparently supposedly scored second most goals for us this season and assists, yet you look at his delivery today and it's weak, it's poor. And then the one guy that had a good game against Newcastle last time, Conor Horan, doesn't even start today. Those two things don't add up. And it's no coincidence that when Conor Horan came on, that some of our set pieces were better. Fair enough, that one towards the end was shocking, but at least you know that there's a chance with him in the team that you're going to get a few deliveries right. So yeah, it's poor from our perspective that we're not putting these balls in the box, because Samatta is known for his heading ability, and Davis as well. Not so headering, but more so the fact that he can take the ball into feet and move things around. We're not utilising that, and it's just screaming out for that.
Yeah. So, Simon, the only thing I would criticise regarding Villa, well, another thing I would criticise really regarding Villa, was that their attacks throughout the game were very slow, and the Newcastle players predicted what was going to happen before the Villa players made that move or cross or shot. Do you not believe?
Yeah, I think, to be honest with you, I think tempo is a big part. Is a big part of it. I think it is difficult. I think we've come back. We've got no supporters in the stadium, so it does make it that little bit harder. But the tempo is an issue. You're right. And I think throughout the game, you were screaming for the passes to be quicker, and you were screaming to take the throw-ins quicker. We needed to win the game. We were just so casual at times. And I think another thing with Villa as well is that we're just too nice. I feel like we're just too nice to play against. Like, players must love playing against Villa because we're not in the opposition's faces. We're not, ramping after the ball constantly. I just find it's a really frustrating watch, and I find for some reason watching on TV feels even more frustrating than watching in person for some reason. But yeah, it's really frustrating.
So, Luke, one of my favourite players in the league, and one of my favourite players, and one of the most influential players at Newcastle, in my opinion, is Allan Saint-Maximin, and he was fantastic throughout the game. And us as Villa fans and the Villa squad are really crying out for someone of the skill set of Saint-Maximin or Ben Rama to easily skill past these players and potentially create more chances for Villa.
Yeah, and you kind of noticed that midway through the second half, Newcastle started to turn up the gears a bit more, and Saint-Maximin and the other lad, I can't remember his name, were causing all the problems. And you could see that they were more energetic, and they were trying to push forward and make things happen. And when we got the ball back, I think it was a couple of times in the game where we did break away, but we were just too slow and nothing came about it, and we would just give the ball away. And we've done it previously. We'll have a throw in, we'll throw the ball into play, and then we give the ball away for a couple of seconds later. And it always seems to be the same problems with it. There's nothing, anything new. It's always the same. And I think it was just before Christmas as well. We were going through a bad patch of form, and I think that bad patch of form through Christmas has just carried on, because I think if you go into the first 10 games of the season, I think all of us, and I think Simon and Matt would agree, I think we were satisfied with how the first 10 games of this season went. And I think we've just got worse from there, because it just seems to be no rhythm from us at all. No one wants to take the leadership. No one wants to. There's just nothing going for us at the minute. I think the only standout player from our first 3 games has to be Luiz, because he's the only one that's tried to create something. I can be a bit hypocritical. I think Greenish has been a bit quiet today the last couple of games as well, but today he seemed a bit up for it.
So, Matt, what do you think Dean Smith said to his players during the drinks breaks, and most importantly, during half-time?
Seemingly nothing, because I saw no improvement. Every time we've had these drinks breaks, I've seen no improvement thereafter. To be honest, I mean, today the drinks break probably came at the wrong time for us, to be fair. I think we'll build a bit more momentum when that happened. But I'm not seeing anything from Smith that fills me with any encouragement that we can stay up. I think he's been digressive in the way that he's made the substitutions, and the drinks breaks have probably not been to our benefit. I get why they're in place, but really for us, they've done nothing. I don't know what he's saying, because it's making no difference. We've been, as Simon and Luke both touched on, the intensity's been appalling, and we've not really taken a game to a team yet, when we've had 2 teams, especially in front of us, that we could have taken the game to. And Simon and Luke have touched on it there, that's down to intensity. But as you refer back to those drinks breaks, no idea, because the one thing I'd be saying is up the intensity, boys, but seemingly not.
Well, Simon, the situation got worse with Dwight Gale opening the scoring for Newcastle past the 60-minute mark. After some fantastic pieces of this defensive play, in my opinion, throughout the match earlier on, how disappointing was it for Villa to concede a goal of that nature?
Well, it was an absolute horror show, wasn't it? And I think it summed up Villa's defending all season. It was just a throw-in not far past the halfway line, and for some reason we ended up having our two centre halves dragged out towards ball watching, basically dragged out towards it, and then Gale's in within an instant, and the only man back is our right back, and it's just a simple finish past the goalkeeper, and it's really schoolboy defending, that is. I mean, you look at it, and no Premier League side should be defending like that. You know, we paid 26 million for Mings and 14 million for Target, and you look at it and you think that is like League One, like defending sort of thing. And yeah, I'm obviously really disappointed because up until that point, Newcastle hadn't really looked like breaking the deadlock, really, and then we once again we shoot ourselves in the foot. But it's been a pattern all season. There's a reason why we've seen the most amount of goals in the league, and there's a reason why we've given away the most amount of points from winning positions in the league, and that is down to our defence, unfortunately.
Luke, you have to question, in my opinion, with John Terry being behind the scenes, we talked about this earlier, John Terry being behind the scenes, one of the best Premier League defenders of all time. Why instances like this happening? And is he coaching the defence in any way? You have to question the coaching from Smith as well as Terry, don't you?
You have to question the tactics on the defence and John Terry and Dean Smith all season. Consistently, we haven't been good enough for the back from the start of the season up till now. Some of the goals, if you can see, that have been really cheap. I think there was one against, I think it was Brighton at home. The ball from a free kick, the ball's just come over the top, and it's a simple pump head out the box, and Brighton have gone and scored. It's been a problem all season, and it's annoying. We've got a top class defender who's won pretty much everything, and a semi-decent manager at this level in the Premiership that can't justify the problem. We can all see what the problem is, but the manager department, they can't, and it's just really frustrating. We've been crying out. I think this is our problem every season. We've been crying out for a decent centre half, and we've got House. I don't think House is at fault for the fact that the club has 2 games, and I don't know. But we always seem to be missing 1 or 2 players at the start of every season, and it's the same problem. I think we had a problem last season. We come to Christmas, and Transavi was out injured for a couple of months, and we couldn't find a replacement. And it annoys me. The money was there in the summer to get a decent defence, and I just don't think we've spent that money wisely in the summer.
And Matt, after periods of poor play, surprisingly, El Mohammadi gained the equaliser, an unlikely goal scorer, wasn't he?
Yeah, he's put himself in the right position though, in the end of the day, and that's all you can ask for. And a few minutes previous to that, Conser missed one where he should have just absolutely thrown his body at it, and it would have gone in. Any part of his body that it's gone in, that it can go in off, it would have gone in. But he's decided to not jump at it, and unfortunately, it's gone out for the corner. And then, Elmo's come on, and he's put himself in the right place, and he's actually gone for it. And surprise, surprise, we actually score. And I think that all comes down to commitment and whether the people are ready to put their bodies on the line. And Elmo was, and he scored. And fair play to him for £1 million. He's arguably Bruce's best signing in terms of consistency over the course of the years. Obviously, McGinn, Bruce signed, but in terms of consistency, I'd say Elmo is the best player he signed. But fair play to him, he's put himself in that position, and he has to start the weekend.
And finally, Simon, after a late push, the game finished 1-1. And ultimately, if Villa do play like that for the rest of the season, we're going to get relegated, aren't we?
To be honest with you, it might sound pessimistic, but I think it's done, to be honest with you. I think we've had 2 very good chances in the opening 3 games against Sheffield United and Newcastle, which we haven't taken. I think my major disappointment is that we've had 13, 14 weeks off from playing, and yet we've been told in interviews by the manager that, the players have worked hard, we've worked on different things, and we're going to come back, we look really strong and all that. And yet, to me, we've come back and looking exactly the same as we did before the lockdown. And like I say, I said it on Twitter the other day, and I got a little bit of stick for it. I said, if we carry on playing 4-3-3, then we might as well down tools right now, and we will be relegated, because it hasn't worked all season. We started it in August, and it's gone all the way through, and it is hardly ever worked, and yet we're still trying to do it now. And I think the final 15 minutes of the game showed that we put 2 up top, changed the formation, and we did look better.
Yeah.
But to me, it's too late now. I mean, you look at the fixtures coming up, and I can't see us getting out of it. I really can't.
No, well, please make sure you leave your comments down below regarding today's game. And thanks to Luke, Matt, and Simon for coming on. Really appreciate it, guys.
No problem. No worries.
Please like the video and subscribe to the Total Villain if you haven't already. And hopefully we'll be back with another video very, very soon. Up the Villa.
What am I supposed to talk about?